Urgent. Imminent threat of coup d'etat to the democratically elected government of Colombia. As Colombian civil society, we see ourselves in the urgent need to address you, governments, congressmen, international organizations of human rights, political parties, trade unionists, activists, movements, and citizens of the world in general, to alert and express our deep concern for the political persecution unleashed against our government and the President, Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Gustavo Petro. Our president was democratically elected with the maximum vote achieved in the history of Colombia, more than 11 million votes. Since the inauguration of President Petro, several officials and entities in Colombia are perpetrating a strategy of destabilization of the government, exceeding its functions and acting in a false role of opposition leaders, ignoring the nation constitution and international law. In the face of this grave situation, Colombians feel a responsibility to raise our voices against the corrupt practices that are undermining the foundations of our democracy. The superior courts have been issuing rulings against the right of citizens and preventing the restoration of the rights of our indigenous communities, peoples who have been abandoned by the Colombian state for more than 200 years. Likewise, they have imposed sanctions on our democratically elected congressmen, senators, and mayors, to the point of preventing them from exercising their constitutional functions and even removing them from their official positions. There is a systematic persecution of the chancellor, ministers, congressmen, unions, peasant organizations, and social leaders. The Supreme Court of Justice wants to perpetrate an institutional rupture in the election of Attorney General of the nation, violating due process, our fundamental rights, and failing to comply with the nation's constitution. The Attorney General's office, led by Francisco Barbosa, and the Deputy Prosecutor Martha Mancera, and the Attorney General's office headed by Margarita Cabello, are attacking the institutionality, the rule of law, and instigating the national armed forces to not respect the mandate of President Petro. Several respected journalists and honorable officials have denounced with evidence a corruption network in which Attorney General Barbosa, Deputy Attorney General Mancera, and Attorney General Margarita Cabello are involved. There are serious allegations of abuse of power to protect drug trafficking and corruption networks. It is a sad reality that in Colombia, the judicial power has been instrumentalized to incur in political persecution and serious violations of the human rights of citizens. The people of Colombia support the efforts that President Gustavo Petro has been making to achieve a social and economical reforms, as well as a just transition to a decarbonized economy and the achievement of territorial peace. Objectives that he proposed in his presidential campaign and the people voted for. We call on the entire international community to stand in solidarity with Colombian people in its fight for justice, transparency, and democracy. Requests. We request the government around the world and international institutions to 1. Request the Supreme Court of Justice of Colombia to comply with the provisions of the Constitution regarding the election of a new Attorney General and General Prosecutor without further delay. 2. Not recognizing Martha Mancera as the General Prosecutor in charge. And open international investigations for possible human rights violations and corruption. 3. Suspend the visas of officials and promoters of the coup attempt. 4. Request the restitution of rights to illegally sanctioned and suspended officials. 5. Freeze all foreign bank accounts of all officials of the aforementioned institutions and open investigations into the origin of these funds. The people of Colombia thank you for your solidarity and support.
Gracias, pueblo CAUP, sus autoridades, recibiéndonos en un acto tan